to address the elephant in the room before I begin. I didn't consciously dress as a cartoon Frenchman today. Like so many things in my life, I consider this outfit something that's just happened to me. Quite a short attention span. I think I started getting dressed in one outfit this morning, lost focus, went in a different direction. And in case you're wondering, by the way, whether these socks match, the answer is they match enough. They're both basically long black socks. If you look very closely, one of them is significantly older and more threadbare than the other one. But you don't come to a comedy night to see people who've got their lives together. My name's Chrissy. Hi. You're so polite. What's the conversation now? Yeah, I'm the one your mother warned you about. Because I'm financially unstable. You don't hear many parents, do you, saying to their children, you know what I want for you, my son. The one thing I would choose for you, my boy, my little prince, before I die, it would be for you to get together with a stand-up comedian. And if I could build this woman from scratch, a fantasy, a pipe dream for you, my angel, my only son, I would want her to be a divorced single mother with moderate to severe mental health problems. Preferably depression and ADHD. So that on the rare occasions that she manages to get out of bed, it's to say, my God, what an interesting moth. I did notice that bleak little cheer for depression there, hey?
And ADHD.
And ADHD. Oh, friend. Place now. But it is a bit weird, I think, a bit uncomfortable, this stand-up comedy. I'd like to acknowledge that. It's a weird, uncomfortable social situation for me and for you. From our point of view, we're up here bearing our souls in return for a laugh. Sorry, that was bearing our souls, not... That would be a bit of a cheap laugh, wouldn't it? And I've checked, they don't let me do that here. And from your point of view, whatever I say, you have to listen. So if I wanted to tell you all about my last smear test, I'm not going to, don't worry. It's pretty standard, couldn't get much material out of it, but if I did want to, bad news, wouldn't it, for anyone apart from people who are here for that kind of material. And, oh, yes, she's doing her smear test bit. Get in, as it were. I love cervical humour. I don't actually mind a weird, uncomfortable social situation, though. I think I might be quite a weird, uncomfortable person. Yeah, unprecedented things sit well with me. Everything else, not so much. I'll give you an example. A while ago, I had what I would call a challenging day. Two things happened, which is more things than usually happen to me in a day. First, I had some neutral feedback from my manager. Not negative feedback, neutral feedback. And second, I slightly set my kitchen on fire. Now, I do know that there is a right answer, an objective right answer for which one of those two things is supposed to bother you the most. You know, I know about normal mental processes. I've seen some on the TV. Never had one myself. And here's how my brain reacted to it. Okay, first, neutral feedback from my manager. Well, I'm going to be fired. They've worked out I'm not a real functioning human being. I'm going to lose my job. I'm not going to be able to pay my mortgage. I'm going to lose my home. The song says nobody wants you when you're down and out. Nobody's going to want me. Nobody wants me now, but they'll want me even less. I'm going to become a social pariah. I'm going to die alone and unloved in a sewer. And my cat, Bernard, is going to feast on my corpse. Which, when you think about it, is an overreaction. But I need positive feedback. I crave validation. When my doctor said my urine sample was perfect, without thinking, my response was, oh, thanks. It's so thing. Oh, I'll put that on my CV. My Tinder profile, good sense of humour, perfect urine sample. So that kind of moderate feedback was really difficult for me. Contrast that with a literal fire in my home. Now don't get me wrong, it was scary. I had to use the fire blanket for the first time. I didn't know how to use it. As far as I was concerned, there was a 50-50 chance that in using the fire blanket to put out the fire, I would set the fire blanket on fire. Once I had a chance to calm down, once I'd sorted it all out in my head, my brain's reaction to it was, oh, I tell you what, that was a nice change of pace. I have a complicated relationship with my brain, which is problematic because I live there. Sometimes I'll be working on my laptop, I'm not a pianist, or a very good mime. I'll be working, and my brain will chip in and say, hi, busy, yes, I'm working. Working, are you? Cool. Hey, you know how you're interested in languages? Yes! And you know how the French word for bike is vélo? Yes, I think I remember that from school. Why are you saying this? Velociraptors are called velociraptors because they used to ride bicycles. No, that's not true. That's foul etymology at best. People often come up to me after my shows and say, oh, Chrissy, I love this character you've created. No, I have various problems. Doesn't stop me from procreating, though. Yeah? Like so many other people who have killed every pot plant they've ever owned, I decided to bring human life into this world. And it's going all right. Not too bad. I fed her today. So. I love being a parent. I really love having a kid. I think it's so moving being able to watch this screaming potato gradually blossom into a weirdly dependent flatmate. Love being a parent. Didn't love being pregnant though. Didn't love that at all. Maybe I was doing something wrong. I mean, I was doing it fine, I kept her in there. I didn't accidentally leave my womb at the shops. Anyone who knows me will tell you that wasn't entirely out of the question. But maybe I was doing something wrong in terms of my attitude, because pregnant women, they're supposed to be radiant, aren't they? I was not radiant as advertised. I wasn't a glowing fertility goddess. I was more of an angry sphere with wind. Found I was pregnant the normal way, peeing on a stick. So I think that's quite a weird thing to be the normal way to do something. In most situations in life, I found peeing on a stick optional. If not frowned upon. But I found out I was not just pregnant, but pregnant a little while later. When a guy came up to me in the street and said, "Oi, darling, you look healthy." I looked down at myself and I thought, yeah, fair play. That is the raciest thing you can say about my appearance right now. I'm roughly the size and build of a sturdy wardrobe, an IKEA Prego. Thank you so much for pointing out that I don't look like I'm going to die in childbirth. It was all worth it though. I've got my daughter now. Her name's Anway. She's 13. She's fantastic. And one of the things I like most about having a kid is being able to share my cultural references with her. Bloody hell, do you mind? Heckled by an ambulance. Yeah, one of my favourite things about having a kid is being able to share my cultural references. If I could, I would share my entire frame of reference with her. And I know that I can't do that. I know that one of these days she's going to look back fondly with a tear in her eye on the times when people were eating laundry detergent for a dare on TikTok. A reference which is simultaneously egregiously modern and already out of date, because I don't know, look at me, I've never been cool. I've never had my finger on the cultural pulse. If I were culture's doctor, it would be long dead, and I would know nothing about it. I'd sort of be there in the background dancing to the Steps version of tragedy. But I share my cultural references with her as much as I can. And once when she was very little, we were invited to a wedding reception that featured what you might call a regulation wedding disco. Yeah, you know the kind. It's the kind where the DJ set hasn't changed since 1993. And that's okay. It's a safe place, it's a happy place. You know what you're going to get. You're going to get hoops upside your head. You are going to get Superman, Cha-Cha Slide, Grease Megamix. That's the Grease Megamix. And I didn't see much of Anwen that night, because at the age of 5 she already had more of a social life than I ever will have. She attached herself to my friend Julia. She followed Julia around everywhere, all night. And by about 10:30, 11, Julia was starting to flag, understandably. She was kind of edging towards the boundaries of the dance floor, as "You Can't Touch This" blared on the sound system, trying to talk to another adult. And I was privileged to witness this tiny child with the most sombre, earnest expression on her face go after her and say, "Julia, Julia, you have to stop. It's hammer time." Double laugh. One thing though that I think any parent will probably be able to identify with. Do we have any parents in the audience, by the way? If you're old enough to have kids, any parents? No. Horribly, horribly. So, one thing that I think your parents might be able to identify is that when you're a parent, you spend so much of your time, so much of your mental energy parenting, but when it's time to stop, it's really hard to turn it off. I think every parent I know has at some point pointed out a moo cow to a bunch of strangers on the bus. The worst one of these that ever happened to me was my partner at the time had his friend round. So this was 2 guys in their late 30s, kicking back, playing cards in my living room. And let me tell you, it really does change the whole vibe of the evening. When you go up to your long-term romantic partner and his friend who you don't know very well, lean over them and say, "Will Mummy get you a drink?" I had to have a threesome that night just to say Absolutely brilliant. I unfortunately have been Chrissy Derbyshire. Thank you so much.